A summer at Treasure Lake. The warm Pennsylvania sun filtered through the trees at Treasure Lake Campground, casting golden light over the campsite. Jason wiped his brow, satisfied with his morning's work. He had spent hours fixing up his BMX bike, adjusting the chain, tightening the handlebars, and making sure the tires were pumped just right. Now it was finally time to ride. With the wind rushing past him, Jason sped through the campground's winding roads, eventually arriving at the park. Nathan was right behind him, kicking up dust as they skidded to a stop near the swings. They jumped off their bikes and ran toward the playground, racing up the slides and soaring through the air on the swings. After a while, Jason felt nature calling. "Nathan, let's go to the arcade," he said. They decided to leave their bikes near the playground, figuring they'd be safe. It wasn't far from the arcade, and they wouldn't be gone long. Inside the arcade, the dimly lit room buzzed with the sounds of beeping games and clinking tokens. Jason and Nathan eagerly fed their quarters into the machines, battling pixelated enemies and chasing high scores. But soon their pockets were empty, and it was time to leave. As they stepped outside, a group of kids loitering near the entrance sneered at them. "Hey, church boys," one of them mocked. "Where's your Bible now?" Jason clenched his fists but said nothing. He and Nathan had been raised to turn the other cheek, so they ignored the bullies and walked away. When they arrived back at the playground, their hearts sank. Their bikes were gone. Frantically, they scanned the area, finally spotting their beloved BMX bikes tossed into the weeds. Jason gritted his teeth. He had a feeling who was responsible. They retrieved their bikes and rode back to the campsite, where Mom and Dad were setting up for dinner. A familiar cast-iron sandwich maker sat near the fire, ready to create their favorite campfire treat, mountain pies. The scent of sizzling pizza sauce and melted cheese filled the air as they toasted their sandwiches over the flames, followed by sweet apple and cherry pies. After dinner, Jason and Nathan decided to give the arcade another shot. As they approached, the same bully was waiting outside. "Your bikes are junk," he sneered. Jason ignored him and went inside with Nathan. They racked up a game of pool, trying to push the bullies out of their minds. When they finally stepped outside, Jason's stomach dropped. Both bikes had flat tires. Jason rushed over, running his fingers over the lifeless rubber. The bully smirked from a nearby fence. "Let's see you ride your bike now," he taunted. Jason had had enough. "Why do you keep messing with us?" he demanded. The bully slid off the fence, stepping closer. "What are you gonna do about it?" He shoved Jason's shoulder. Jason reacted instinctively. He pushed back, not thinking about his own strength. The bully stumbled backward, lost his footing, and crashed onto the gravel. For a moment everything went still. Then the sharp contrast of red against gray, blood trickling from the back of the boy's head. The other kids gasped. Jason froze. I didn't mean to." Someone shouted for an adult, and within minutes EMS arrived. The bully needed stitches but was otherwise okay. Meanwhile, Jason was left to face his parents. Back at the campsite, his dad's face was stern. "You're grounded. 2 weeks. You're not leaving this campsite." Jason hung his head. He hadn't wanted to hurt anyone. Now he was stuck, bored out of his mind while the rest of the campground carried on without him. The next day, his parents returned from the camp store, a strange look on his dad's face. "You're not grounded anymore," his father said. Jason blinked in surprise. "We saw that kid today," his dad continued. "He was running his mouth about how next time he sees you, he's gonna beat you up." He gave Jason a knowing look. Seems to me he learned nothing. Later that day, Jason cautiously approached the arcade. The bully was there, but something had changed. Instead of insults, the boy greeted him with a nod. "Hey!" Jason hesitated. "Hey!" To his surprise, the kid grinned. "You wanna ride?" Jason frowned. "Ride what?" The boy pointed to a four-wheeler parked nearby. "My 8V. I'll let you drive." Jason hesitated, then shrugged. "Sure." He climbed on, feeling the rumble of the engine beneath him. The boy hopped on the back, and together they sped down the dirt trails. That summer, Jason learned something important. Sometimes, standing up for yourself earns respect. The bully never messed with him again. In fact, they became unlikely friends. The following year, the bully's family never returned to Treasure Lake, and Jason never saw him again. But that summer, with its mountain pies, BMX rides, and one unforgettable lesson, stayed with him forever.